This is American Dumpster Fire.
You don't want either. Well, we're on the air. This is Loki.
This is Terry.
And Odin.
And people suck.
Yes, they do.
We were just looking through the topics for today, and we discovered one that Pierre wants to talk about. But first, let's discuss the fact that Roger Stone's going down. Guilty verdicts. I hear this is very bad for Trump in the impeachment hearings. So, and then
That's the rumor.
did you hear about the comment from Jim Jordan about we'd like to hear from the person who started this all? And then I forgot who the
You mean they want to out the whistleblower?
Right. But the response was, we can hear from the person who started this all. Bring Trump in here. He's welcome to talk.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, it was just... Jim Jordan is just a jackass, though. I am so ashamed that he's an Ohioan.
Oh, God. I heard an interview on NPR with him.
I'm kind of ashamed myself to be an
Wow.
Ohioan at
The
this point.
douchebaggery coming off. I mean, just the way he was talking.
But
was
doesn't he
just-
sound like the fourth burnout chipmunk? Like
No.
you got
No.
Alvin, Simon, Theodore, and then there's Jim, who was like the chipmunk that was like, he's like 5 years older than them, from Mom's like early years when she was like a little
Look,
disgusting and did hard drugs.
I don't follow enough of politics, especially local where it actually matters. But hearing him in that radio show, dodging and weaving around questions, making excuses for Trump, just being belligerent and trying to talk over the host on their own show.
Yeah, he's a bully,
I
and he's not even a good
could
bully.
I could never see him as, I'm sure you're talking about his tenor voice or something, but I couldn't even see him as a chipmunk or something that
him
adorable.
and,
I couldn't do it.
Ben Shapiro sounds like another one, like the baby crackhead of a chipmunk or something like that. Like, but I think it's just the tiny little penises. That's all it is. Speaking of tiny penises, though, Tyr, you want to talk about the?
Okay, that's your segue.
I don't know that I really
There's
want
no
to talk
doubt in my
about
mind
this.
that sheriff has a tiny penis.
Oh God.
Well, I don't think it was the sheriff.
What was it? What was he?
It just says...
I thought it was the sheriff's department.
It's the sheriff. Yeah, it is the sheriff's department, but I
But
don't
not
think...
the sheriff himself.
Right.
He was a deputy of the sheriff's department,
Right.
bullying a kid with no arms and no legs.
And now I have that song
He's,
in my head.
okay,
Thank
he's
you.
a sheriff's deputy. So, yeah, this man literally, like, tackled a boy in a group home with no arms or legs.
And screaming in his face like he's hunched over. He's bent over.
Yeah, like,
Screaming
literally,
in this
the
kid's
boy's
face.
on the ground,
W-
not
with-
really capable of running away.
Right.
Yeah, he kind of stands like he's
Now,
got these
now
stubs.
let's
you
be
know.
honest here. Okay, this whole incident started because he
knocked over a garbage
trash
can.
can.
hmm
Now,
So, of course, you call the police.
Right.
now
'Cause
I don't.
That's
maybe
what
was
a
it-
reasonable person would do, right?
Is it because he has no arms and no legs and moving around is difficult for him,
No.
or was it a fit of rage because his life sucks?
And
Who
and,
cares?
And because his family
Does it
has abandoned
matter?
him.
Right, you don't call
What
the
is
police
this
over
dude
something
gonna-
like this.
yeah.
Like, how much violence could he be capable of? He has
He
no
knocked
arms or
over a
legs.
trash can.
Right. So a reasonable person in the establishment called the police because a trash can was knocked over because the kid was upset because his family had abandoned him, and
And he got a detention at
he
school or
got some kind of
something.
detention or suspension at school.
And the kid is 15 years old.
So
And so a
because a lot of
15-year-old boy
adults-
who's been through a bunch of shit might, have a little bit of a frustration to take out.
So a lot of adults failed this child. A lot of
Oh,
adults
yeah.
did not act like adults in this child's life, and accumulated to this moment where one sheriff's deputy had the opportunity to set it all right and do the right thing and treat him like a human being, and instead the son of a bitch tackles him, gets in
Yes.
his face.
After he
Screams
screamed, he
at him.
literally bent in half to scream in
Yeah.
this kid's face, and then fucking tackled him.
Now,
Now,
there's
we only saw bits and pieces of the video.
true,
Yeah.
but there's 8 minutes of it.
It looks like there's a verbal exchange, so he's probably
So-
smart enough
And
to.
then-
And
The
so
report
what?
that I read said he actually had him in a headlock at first, before he tackled him.
Yeah, we did not see that.
After he loosened his hold, the kid tried to get away. Because what do you do when someone's got you in a headlock? You try to get the
but
fuck away.
yeah, of course.
So, but then this sheriff's deputy with this tiny little penis goes in and arrests the kid who was filming the whole thing.
Well, yeah, that was.
Yes,
Now-
he did. He arrested both of them.
Now, right, so he
disorderly
arrested
conduct.
this kid with no arms and no legs, who threw a riot by knocking over a trash can.
But he did manage to get the
and,
video out.
and another kid who had filmed the incident And then the only reason the video wasn't buried, let's face facts, is because the cops didn't know about it.
In fact, they when the reporters confronted the sheriff's department with them, they asked for a copy for their IA investigation.
Which I'm sure they're going to try and figure out where it is on the internet so they can erase it.
Quite possibly.
Good luck
but
with that one.
I can't even tell you how much I was reading this. I was reading this article and just so horrified. What the fuck has happened to this man to make him think that this behavior is acceptable? Grow the motherfucking hell up.
Well,
I'm not talking about the 15-year-old boy.
Sure, yeah.
I'm talking about the full-ass grown man that somebody has given a badge to.
Yeah.
We need to start holding our police to a higher fucking standard.
Absolutely.
And no, I'm not bashing on police. I have relatives that are police
Right.
officers. And I don't think that having this type of person, this caliber of person, with a badge makes my family members any safer.
No,
if
no.
anything, it's harmful to
Yes,
them.
absolutely. No,
course.
Yeah, bad cops make it hard for all other cops. That's the thing. I support the police because I want the shitty cops gone so we can restore the reputation of the police
Exactly.
forces.
Right, but they've tried to
Exactly.
protect themselves by protecting all, because
Right,
that's
yeah,
how
this blanket
No, that's not the
protection
way
of
it works.
police
I
is
support
ridiculous.
unions, but unfortunately that's how unions work, and it does keep bad employees and staff. And
That's why
Just-
it's got to work more like nurses. Nurses, they protect their own, but they also expose their own. So when there's a bad nurse, they get rid of them. So you don't keep them all. You got to recognize
Well,
when you've got a bad apple, it's going to spoil the whole bunch.
well, because in that instance, the wrong dosage you kill a person, but that same is true with police.
The
This
bottom
isn't
line
about
is,
wrong dosage.
no,
This is abuse.
We need to. It is abuse. It is straight up abuse. And here's the bottom line: is that there does have to be a degree of respect for police officers. You also have to earn respect.
Right, how do you
have
give-
to deserve respect.
How do you give respect when time after time they show they're on the wrong side? They do the wrong thing.
Exactly. These. How many times have
It goes
have
against all
links
my life
to-
experience to trust anybody with authority.
No,
It's
and I feel
hard.
you.
And,
I'm
and-
there too,
And I
but
got you got to wonder
This
if
makes it worse.
is it the position? Now I know a
In
lot.
part.
First
I know
of all,
a lot
I
of good
don't
police.
think they're screening, but I also think it's people are drawn to this type of
I agree with
authority.
you. Yes, I agree that there bullies are drawn to this position.
And we're obviously not doing enough to screen these people who are becoming officers.
But I mean, now I've known a lot of police throughout my life, friends, family members, etc. And I gotta say that I know bad ones. It's just like if
Mhm.
it was a rarity, how many should I know?
Right.
Because I know
Right.
more than a few.
If it was a rarity, we shouldn't be running into these kinds of articles this
Right.
often.
Right, but I mean,
And it's not always, tackling a boy with no arms or legs because clearly he was a flight risk or something.
right.
It's,
I mean, he was able to get around, but it's not like he's going to run a marathon or anything.
What?
I mean,
Okay.
he's not
please tell
going
me
anywhere. I mean,
what this kid could have done that we watched this video. He didn't try to run. He
No.
didn't do anything
I didn't see
that-
anything that would
that
even
prompted
constitute a
being
possible violent
tackled
threat.
or put in a headlock.
He was seen as an
seen
opportunity to increase
videos-
this officer's masculinity.
I saw a video of a police officer who had a woman. She was standing in front of a brick wall.
Mhm.
Her hands were fucking cuffed. She said something to the man, and he body slammed her into the wall. She passed out instantly.
Which
Yeah.
is what he did right here with the guy who's videotaping it. The
He
teenager who
slammed
videotaped-
this kid.
yeah,
who
after he had him handcuffed, he
not
head slammed him
resist
into the
at
wall.
all.
He edged his elbow inward in such a way that he would throw the guy against the cabinets that he had him against the wall. of
But
the
it was a
kitchen there.
blatant slam. He
Oh, yeah, no.
slammed
Oh, yeah, it
him
was
into-
Yeah,
intentional.
he tried to
And
make it
by the
look
way, this has
coincidental,
been
but
an
you can
epidemic
tell.
amongst school resource officers abusing kids in the schools too.
Yeah, I've
That-
seen it
that
a few
they've been
times with
outright
kids.
beating children, and
Yeah.
it seems to be heavily falling on young women as of lately. Just
Because
from what I've
I
seen.
think it's
I
the
saw
same
something
thing
where
as
somebody cuffed or something an 8-year-old boy. They restrained a
Yeah.
little fucking
Yeah.
boy.
I heard
What
about
the
that.
fuck is
and
wrong
do we
with
not
you?
realize how traumatic this is to these children?
That's the thing. That's fucking
These kids
abuse.
will never,
this is damaging.
ever trust an authority figure.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
Why do you think I'm the way I am? It's like,
Oh god, it's so upsetting.
no,
Oh my
you guys
god,
have
if I
trained
was
me
that
not to
kid's
trust
mother,
you.
I would be so far up that officer's ass.
Yeah, I'd be
Holy
furious.
shit.
No, yeah, he wouldn't be able to sit. So
I honestly think it comes down to you've got someone in a position of weakness, and especially if they're young, they're going to smart off because they have no authority now. You've robbed them of any dignity or power. So they're going to lash out in what way they can.
And so yeah, it's all they can do.
And they're going to be and these bully-like officers, not all officers, but enough, are are going to take that as, well, how dare you, you little shit.
Well,
but
here's the
you know,
thing.
here it is.
We're
I keep-
supposed to be the adults.
Right.
I keep
Oh my
hearing-
God!
I
What a
keep hearing-
concept. Which this man is clearly not.
I keep hearing not all, right? It's not all men, not all
It's enough.
police officers, not all this, not all that. But that isn't even saying not most. First off,
Yeah, I don't know what the
and-
percentage is. I couldn't
and,
guess.
but even if it isn't most, who should be regulating this? Who should be speaking out against it? Should it not be your colleagues? Should it not be
Can I-
the good ones, quote unquote? You
Exactly.
know,
Well, you can't be a
Exactly.
good one if you're
If
protecting a bad
if you're
one.
one of those not all police
absolutely,
officers,
you're absolutely correct.
you're the one who should be holding them to a higher standard. You
Absolutely.
should be the first one upset about this.
Yeah,
Not all whatever your answer is going to be. Like the whole not all men, not all police officers, not all whatever. That is a silencing technique.
right. Enough,
Bullshit. Enough.
Enough of you.
Enough that this keeps happening. Enough that one boy in this group home who was upset enough to knock over a trash can, who is not a flight risk because he has no arms and no legs, he was fucking tackled by a police officer. We saw an 8-year-old, or I think he was 8, child restrained by a police officer. We've seen police officers abuse their authority time and time and time again. Okay? So it doesn't matter that it's not all of them. Those police officers who don't do this kind of shit should be the first ones standing up saying, this is not okay.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, it's time to police your own.
Exactly. Exactly. And so for all those people who say, like, not all men or whatever it is, great. Are you the one who's standing up to these men when they do something like this?
Right.
No, you're not. Shut up and sit down.
Right. And before you say anything, yes, I have. I mean, it's,
I know, but also, do you get offended when someone's talking about something shitty that men
No.
do? Do you
No,
feel the
because
need
men
to
do
chime
shitty
in?
things.
Right.
And
do
if
you
I
feel the
see
need
it,
to
I
chime
do
in and say,
something.
"Oh, not all men, not me, not me." If it's not you, you already know they're not talking about you.
Right.
You don't get offended
Yeah.
because you don't think that that's something you
Right.
could do.
yeah, when you're like not all, you mean you, but not others.
Right.
So, sorry to tell you, but you just you tipped your hand.
Right. If you got offended by that, it's probably because you related to it in some way.
Right. Ooh, that's me.
Yeah.
But all right, speaking of, sorry to be this way with the children today. Parents of teenager killed by U.S. diplomats. Wife say Donald Trump offered to have the Treasury write them a check. Is this a bribe? Is this what is this?
Well,
Sounds
backtrack.
like a
This is in
bribe.
England where
Yeah. So the child was hit by a car in the wrong lane. Now I'm not sure if drunkenness was involved. I heard it was.
well, they're on the wrong side of the road, but it is England, so if they just got the car, maybe they were confused or forgot for a second.
The
But-
only thing that I saw on it was that she immediately claimed diplomatic immunity and then booked.
Oh yeah,
Right, yeah, what bullshit's that? You know what, and I've long thought that we need to pull diplomatic immunity off the shelf in America for foreign diplomats here.
You're not going to likely see many of them.
That's fine. But I think the same is true for us in other places. This diplomatic immunity bullshit is exactly that. It's bullshit. It's licensed to break the law because it doesn't apply to you. It's bullshit.
Well, as I understand it, it's
Nobody
not
should be
supposed to be
above the law.
complete diplomatic
Look,
immunity.
I understand.
There's
if you
certain
wanna
laws
let
that
go
you
of-
should not be able to be free of just because.
Right. Well, if we're talking
Status.
about like I can't get a parking ticket or something like that, okay, whatever. First off, they're just gonna be
Well, yeah.
they're gonna be pricks and park in the wrong places. That's just how
Here's
it's
my
gonna
thing.
be. It's gonna be
Nobody with
misused.
money gives a fuck about parking tickets.
Right. But that's
you
what
can
I'm saying.
park here. It just costs more.
It's a license to get away with rape and murder.
Look, if I'm going
Yeah.
to drive down to Florida and I get a ticket in Alabama for speeding, I can mail that in, okay? But if you get a ticket like in England for failure to stop or some minor thing, you're not going to go back to England and then sit before a magistrate and do all that. You're just not going to do that. But for bigger high crimes, absolutely, you should be at least
Essentially,
held until they can
this
figure
isn't
out what
even the
happened.
Issue. The issue is Trump tried to bribe somebody to
Right.
keep quiet,
Yes.
and they refused it.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but from what I understand, the story goes deeper than that.
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in an unrelated article, it's related, but not
In
this-
another
this
article.
yeah, in another
Earlier this
article,
week.
he tried to force the diplomat and the family on each other. So, like, he had the diplomat waiting outside of the room and tried to force the family into talking with him or
Oh,
talking
him?
with her, or whatever
I
it
don't
was.
know.
Yeah, like to
Okay.
arbitrate it off
And
the
it's
book.
like that's
What?
gross. So you want this family to
Why
be
is he
subjected
so
to their
personally
killer?
involved in this?
Isn't this the most rapey thing you've ever heard of, though? Like forcing their kid's killer on them?
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, like you can
Very weird.
you can confront your accuser or whatever in open court, but you have the protection of a bailiff.
Now, could
and
this
judge
have been
and-
done better, though? Could we have forced the family and the diplomat together in a better way? Could we say have given the family hammers and said,
I
do what
was-
you like and be done?
I was seeing like the gladiator kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah. So you do what you like to them, and we'll call it a day. You know,
Doesn't
because
seem like something you do in the White House.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
feel like
but
maybe
this is the Trump
not-
administration. Things are
that's
different
true.
now.
You
know,
can't put
they're
anything past
mobsters.
these people. Yeah, no, the whole thing is very weird, and I think there's more to it.
Yeah, no, there's definitely more to
like
it.
I don't know why Trump is so involved, but there's something fishy there.
Well, I mean, when Trump's involved, there's always something fishy.
Yeah, I don't know,
So.
weirdness.
All right. Well, in other news, a Republican who argued for tossing out black votes wins a position as top Mississippi election official. This is from Deep South Voice. I'm not really familiar with this paper, but it doesn't surprise me. Michael Watson, a Republican who once argued that a court should throw out black votes in a Republican primary, has won the race for Mississippi Secretary of State, which oversees, this is why this is really fucked up, which oversees state elections.
Oh no.
What do you even say? I mean, it's Mississippi, so.
So there's first of all,
surprised?
I don't know. First of all, there's a good amount of black votes in Mississippi, isn't there?
Yes, but there's
Are we
enough.
suspicious of how this man made it into office?
I'm not sure if I'm suspicious of how he made it in office. There's enough racist pieces of garbage there to have carried it, I think. You know?
Maybe so.
So.
And there's probably enough gerrymandering and stuff like
Oh,
that.
no doubt. Yeah.
So the problem is that we've now put this man who has openly said that he wants to throw away black votes into a position where he has authority over voting.
Yeah, we're devolving, right? First Steve King and now this guy. I mean, you know, there's enough of these pieces of trash out there. How many Nazis does the Republican Party employ? You know,
All of them.
So yes, all of the Nazis. We have them all. I don't even know.
mean,
I don't
this
even
is
know what to
scary.
say anymore.
Like honestly, in the last major election, was it the last major election? I think so. But there was like all these articles that popped up after the vote about different kinds of tampering and stuff like
God.
that. Election, certain poll places being shut down. Some of them having one machine active. And it being like hours to wait to vote in areas where people couldn't afford to miss work.
I've heard this in every election since 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Because I feel like since 2016 they've become much more blatant.
I don't know.
Maybe 2017. But in these last few years, these have become to the point where I'm just like shocked and horrified that we're not doing anything about this. Like these are blatant attempts to fraudulently win election. Like they're
Yeah.
literally trying to suppress vote. They're
No, I
literally
know.
are suppressing votes, and we're not doing anything about it. Those elections should not be. They should not go through.
This is why.
Whoever won because of some bullshit that they pulled at polling places, no, you should be stripped of your position, and the vote should be held again in a fair election.
but the problem is the Republicans have actively stripped the power of the election commission. I mean, there is no real power now other
This
than
is disgusting.
to.
It is the most un-American thing I can think of.
Yeah, well, that's
These people
Mitch
are
McConnell.
traitors to our country.
I agree.
That's
I
Mitch
absolutely
McConnell.
agree with that. But like I said, between mail trucks and swamps filled with overseas
Yeah,
military
yeah, that
Epstein
too.
ballots, a gerrymandering that's gone way off the rails, and the only people who control who writes and controls the shape of those sections of the various counties or districts are the same people who were already elected, so no other party gets in. I mean, this Diebold machines have been proven to be hackable quite easily through multiple methodologies.
I think it's designed that way.
My point is that we're at a point where we need to stop the pretense of, well, why don't we just vote by our phone? Well, it could be hacked. Well, all of it can be hacked, either physically by hijacking the votes or digitally altering this or any number of ways. We've been hacked every which way. We need to go to direct voting. We need to
We
make
do.
a system.
Things need
do
to
it as an
change.
app off your phone.
Ranked choice voting. We need it today.
And I agree with that
we
too.
need ranked choice voting. We need to take the money out of these elections.
But the whole thing that it
whole
could be hacked,
sponsorship
it
and
can't be
everything.
worse. It
Listen.
cannot be worse.
Forever ago, I came up with this joke of an idea that elections should be reality TV. Not all of them, obviously, but the higher up, right?
They
It makes
kind of are.
it makes a mockery of the whole system, right? But look at where we are. Are we really worried about that at
Seriously,
this point?
we got the worst reality TV.
Well,
And
we
here's the
had
thing.
16 candidates that gave us Trump, and now we have 22
But
who are going to give us who
here's
knows
the point,
who.
right? You fucking Big Brother this shit. You throw like your group of candidates into a house.
Can we Survivor?
Neither. Ooh, I'm not opposed to this
I
idea.
don't want to see them
Here's
in
the
bathing
thing.
suits eating rice.
You never.
No, but
ew.
bloody.
You never allow them to say what party they're with. There is no Democrat. There is no Republican. They are never allowed to use their party name or they're disqualified. But you make them discuss different topics. Without their speechwriters there, they're forced to actually address these topics of their own fucking thoughts.
They're a lot dumber than you think they are.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know.
I know. Like, what was the
But
one when it cut
this-
like 4 different
okay,
divisions and couldn't remember
so
the fourth
that's the
one?
thing, though, is that this starts showing their true colors, and you start hacking them out as you go, right? And all you have to do. Oh, now nobody had any problem voting for American Idol. You only get one vote, right? Everybody calls in. I get you can use your different phones.
Actually, they said
I
that
It
abstain.
kind of-
American Idol was, it was like a more secure election than ours is currently, or something.
Okay,
Like
so that's my point. It's not like
yeah,
we're
but
doing.
no one's trying to hack that.
that. No, that's fair, but it would have been harder to hack than
Okay,
what
but it's all
ours
look
is.
at our current
right.
system.
That's what I'm saying. We could do.
Look at our current system.
better.
Is it any worse? We are actively trying to suppress votes with our with our current system.
Well, no,
We're
let's be fair.
gerrymandering.
Republicans are actively trying to suppress votes.
My
Republicans are
point
actively
is,
cheating and
is
hacking.
it's
Well, you don't
6
need an
of this,
election
half
day.
a dozen of
you
the
don't
other.
need make it a holiday and have a whole day off. If all I got to do is go on an app on my phone, spend 5 minutes going through the issues, and select my 16 different things.
But this
and
is
I'm
what
done.
I'm saying: is you see these people in their true colors, like locked in a freaking house to discuss these different issues. There are no speechwriters. There's nobody feeding them lines. There's no teleprompter. They're actually discussing this stuff. And at the end of the day, you start voting for them, and whoever's not keeping up with their side of stuff starts getting knocked off. Now, what we said was the worst case scenario is you end up with like Snooki in office, and then Trump was elected, and I was like, is this any worse?
No,
I'll
Snooki
take
would be
Snooki.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I'll
was
take
gonna say
Snooki.
Trump has no cleavage that I want to see. I mean,
So, I
Snooki's
mean,
not a prize,
like,
but it's
that's the
better.
thing.
It's better.
Snooki Smoosh Moosh.
Yeah.
What I never actually
It's a South
saw
Park
Jersey
reference.
Shore.
South Park.
Oh, so so I don't know. That's my point. Is just that like it takes the money out of politics. Like you don't need. It's not whoever has the most money gets the most exposure because they're all stuck there in the same thing. You know. So it's not like people contributing to campaigns.
But we should make them do embarrassing challenges.
I'm okay with that.
So.
I don't know. Maybe answer a question directly. That'd be nice.
Oh, that is embarrassing. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so tired.
Well, and
so tired.
here's what I'm thinking.
Electric shock colors. This is my. This is
I
my
think they should have
if
drinking
we're
Your
games.
gonna do a reality show,
contribution.
every time they don't actually answer the question and they start going to talking points or answering questions no one
You
asked.
buzz them.
Yes.
It's an interesting addition. I like it. But
Trump
like
would
this
have
is my
died.
point. Is
He would
like
have died.
truly in this house. Like, but truly, isn't it like really?
What if it's not on their
like
neck,
I said,
but
it
the
makes
groin?
it makes a mockery of the whole system. But I think we've already done that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too late.
yeah,
It's already a
so,
mockery.
but otherwise, like I think it's a good idea. Like
It's
you're
not bad.
you're
It's not a-
getting their actual
Well,
thoughts.
I want to see
you vote them out.
the drinking game episode
Oh
because
God.
you're a lot more.
No
on.
one would be electable. No one.
Well, sorry,
That'd
I
be so
thought-
bad.
I thought with genocide so bad. You know,
Jesus.
gone.
Yeah, there'd be like 95%
No, people would
racist
still
or
vote for
something.
them.
Yeah. Oh
You
no, that
gotta
would
put
get
the-
votes
Yeah,
in some
it
places.
would.
They would say
would.
something
Mississippi
horrific.
suddenly
This is
lights up.
America.
Alabama.
I don't know.
We're
I
in.
stand by it. I think it's a great idea.
Oh God.
It's a little horrifying, but I
And
think
then you
it could
find
work.
two of them pairing off, making out, and you're like, oh, okay.
And then you start
li-
voting them.
You
You
lied
start-
about that.
Pence.
They start.
Pence. Pence.
they
Get off him.
They get votes.
Pence. We're on the air.
They get votes for just for the ship. Is that what it is?
Pence. That's the mascot.
Oh, come on, man. Now we're getting into the furries. Okay. It's not a real eagle. Is that what it is?
Call bag. Fuck 'em dead.
Is that a crow quote?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I've just totally seen one drunken stem going around with like a donkey or elephant head. You know, just not the whole costume, just the head. I need to see
I
the
don't know.
show.
I think that
do.
maybe if we, instead of doing a drunken episode, you give them like, we'll just do it somewhere where pot's legal. I think that we'd get some fantastic ideas out of them.
I don't know. I mean, they'd just be getting along and mellow.
I know, but like, you'd have a little circle of all these ideas that they can piece together that sound really great at the moment, but probably won't be so great the next day.
Plus, they're an older generation, so they'll probably be trying to match the wall to the Wizard
All right.
of Oz or something.
So while we're
It'd be
doing
pretty
game
boring.
shows, though,
Mhm.
we should outlaw lobbyism and make the lobbyists fight to the death.
I'm interested.
So that's my thought. We have a gladiator show with real weapons and no armor,
Are there lions?
just for lobbyists. Only for whoever's left standing.
Okay.
I'm not against the concept of you
I'm looking at you.
seeking audience, redressing issues, but when it's a pay-for-play
It's so
system,
corrupt.
it's just legalized bribery.
Yeah, it's so corrupt.
It
That's
is
the thing.
exactly
Me and
legalized
you don't have
bribery.
a voice.
Through unions.
Oh, yeah,
you-
yeah,
no,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
we were showing. I was looking it up a while ago, but they were showing like the 8 largest groups that
Look,
meet,
I get it.
and 5 of
but
them
they're not me
were
or
all
you.
giant corporations, and 3 of them were unions.
Right. A, they're not me or you. B, they're completely dwarfed by the voices of corporations. It's ridiculous.
They are.
Uh,
But that's what I'm saying is the concept isn't bad. The practice is.
Right. So yeah, but you shouldn't pay to. You should never have to pay to play. Never.
No.
I
agree.
realize that we're looking for a system to see, what is worth listening to.
Well,
right?
here's the
I
thing.
mean, and that's the hard part. The hard part is trying to understand. But is it money? Is money really the answer? Is money the answer to decide who is worth listening to and who isn't?
No,
Well, no,
that's what we need to eliminate is
Right.
the idea that money is
But
the
that's
only
what we
thing-
have right now.
Money is the only thing
All right.
that gets a voice right now.
But the thing is there's like 323 million people in America.
I get
okay?
it.
At the time, at the late 18th century, when they came up with these rules, it sounded good. I mean, hell, it was just colonies and shit. They didn't even do the Louisiana Purchase and all that crap yet. My point is that they didn't have phones, internet, any of this stuff
We get it.
for direct communication. So this is the best way they could manage it, and their numbers were a lot smaller. And what I'm basically saying is that representative democracy isn't necessary anymore. We have to.
No, I know.
We could
could
have
do
direct
Yeah,
democracy.
I agree.
We
We have the
all
technology
have
now,
a
right.
$600
Yeah,
to
we can make it
$1,000
stronger.
computer in
Right.
our pocket where we can contact anybody instantly. We can check off a box and instantly vote on anything.
Well, here's a great thing. My phone, I don't know about your phones, but my phone has fingerprint ID. So I actually have all of my fingerprints stored in my phone. So I pay my credit cards by fingerprint now. And
See, and that's the thing is if we have that kind of technology, then we can verify.
I mean, it's all hackable, but there's certain things we
The
can
only
do.
issue
There
you're
are
going to
certain things we
have,
can do.
the only issue you're going to have is that older generations might not want to put their fingerprint into
that's good.
an electronic device.
Yes. Yes. That
I'm
is
okay with
good.
it.
We will.
I don't know.
We will be better.
I'm not currently wanted in any other state, so it should be fine.
We have the way. Look, I mean, now I realize, like with iPhone, their facial recognition, I could literally tape a printout of somebody's face and fool it.
I wouldn't use that. Something that,
But
like
that's what I'm saying.
not foolproof.
But I've got fingerprints, and even if it asks for 3 different fingerprints, you know what I'm saying, to match up or something like that.
yeah.
You could do something
Although
like that.
technically somebody could steal your fingerprints.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot
For
of work,
little
and
to
it's
no
not
payoff.
something that you could
It's
do
simple.
on
It's
large
simple.
scale easily.
You could make it on a delay. You vote now, verify 2 days later or something. Anytime you do something, Google or anybody else will send you an email like, "Hey,
Well,
there
I
was an
said
activity
we
on
should
your
have a
account," and-
receipt. You should have a receipt. And I realize that the problem with that some people say is that they don't want their personal identification matched up to exactly what your vote is. However, I was saying the receipt should just be numbers, and you
That
can check it whenever
is
you like.
An
You
interesting
know,
point.
So it's not a matter of your identity, just a series of numbers that brings
Right.
up a ballot. You know what I'm saying, that you can look at and verify. Because that's the other problem right now is that there are voting machines who are changing votes.
That's what I'm saying is we're licensing this out to third parties. All we're asking you is maybe to have your phone virus scanned and use that, and maybe we go through some kind of government server that's set up by, I don't know, not the lowest bidder, and we can maybe make this work.
Not a company owned by Republicans.
Oh yeah, we got to stop with this constant licensing out everything. It is, we're not getting into
The bottom
private
line is
prison
there's
industry and all
probably
that, but
there's
I mean,
probably a million different ways to do it, and there's probably and all of them are probably better.
Well,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. If the inherent flaws do not outweigh the flaws we currently have. That's
There
what
are
I was
Right,
plenty
trying
of
to say.
exactly.
issues, though.
There's
There
so
are
many
oth-
better ways to
There
do
are
it.
other countries doing some of these better ways, like
That's
ranked choice
right.
voting and stuff.
And they always go, well, those are smaller countries. Why the hell does that matter?
It doesn't matter because you don't do it. It's not a countrywide thing. You would go state by state, and each state is about the size of any
doesn't
given other
matter.
country. So you could do
It's
Ohio's
computers,
election
I mean.
the same way that Ireland does their ranked choice voting system. And you have a local TV station where they're showing the live count of all the votes and
I
everything
do like
that.
the idea of the receipt too, though, showing you what you voted.
Right, so you go back and see,
And
wait
that's
a
the
minute, that
thing is that
motherfucking machine changed
we
my
have
vote.
And I
Our-
think a lot of people would actually share that receipt on Facebook, believe it or not.
Yeah, I would.
It, I mean, even if you did it by social, it's not like they don't know what the fuck you voted. Like, let's be
Right.
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
At
Come
this
on.
point.
They know everything.
Right, and you're registering
did you
for
know
one
there was
party or
porn in
another.
that?
Like, they fucking know what you're voting for. Come on now. And they're monitoring your Facebook and your Twitter and every, like, fucking political post that you're looking at and liking. Everybody already knows what your political affiliation is.
Right, yeah, there's no
Um,
doubt there.
It's not a secret, but the bottom line is between like having to verify your social and your phone number and your bank accounts and blah 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 blah. Like there's no like these things. The secure information's already
Well,
there. Verifying your identity is already a thing.
What I
You know
like-
what I'm saying?
what I
Like
like
there's
about-
no difference here. The technology is available.
What I like about ranked choice voting also is that it gives third-party candidates a chance. Because
Oh yes, absolutely.
So you're not throwing your vote and skewing an election.
right, because it's like, okay, you know what? I like that guy. I don't care what people say. I'm going to give him a chance. And you vote for him. Now you can vote for him
and then
without
you have
having
your
to worry about the
backup
fact,
of,
yeah,
right.
but that awful guy's going to win if I don't vote for this person who I don't really like that much.
Or
Right.
let's talk about one of those. I don't know if it was Diebo, but one of those types of machines, those electronic voting machines, where they were clicking on it, and either the touch screen was worn out, let's say generously, or was utterly rigged, where they were clicking on the one above and it kept selecting the one below.
Right.
No matter what they did, they couldn't select the one they wanted.
Yeah, I heard some of those were brand new machines.
Yeah. So it's like,
and it's funny because I've had some pretty cheap electronic devices
right.
that still seem to get it right. So you're telling me this expensive ass voting machine can't?
I mean, not unless you got water on the screen, it shouldn't react like
Yeah,
that.
they're full of shit.
Yeah, it was rigged. Are we going to talk about the impeachment hearings at all?
Sure. What do you want to talk about? You got anything?
I don't really, but I felt like maybe we should address this and how it's looking. Anybody heard anything good about this?
Well, I mean, other than the constant refrain is because the whistleblower. I'm sorry, because they actually did supply the Ukraine with what was it? The Javelin missiles and some aid. They're trying to say that there was no, trade. There was no
No
Bribery?
deal, no hold.
extortion or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're basically saying because he did that
Okay.
and he didn't get anything back. And they're like,
Let's-
but right before all that went down, the whistleblower called you out on this BS,
Right.
and you're doing this to cover your ass. And they're like, well, we'll never know now.
Let's enact this. I'm going to withhold these missiles,
Mhm.
and but I'll give you all this stuff if you do what I want you to do. But I'm gonna withhold this stuff if you don't.
Yeah, and
Okay.
supposedly they did
But
start.
no, but we're playing this out, right?
Okay.
And you're like, let me think about it. Then Tyr over there is like, hey, you can't do that. I'm telling. Tyr tells. Then they're like, wait, what's going on here? Oh, here's all the stuff.
Right. That's exactly, yeah.
That's still bribery and extortion.
And-
Because bribery does not require the other party to respond. All it requires is that an offer was made to elicit a response, okay?
Or a demand.
Or
in
a
this
demand
case.
illegally. And extortion is, once again, doesn't require any response. It just requires that you're like, I'm going to withhold something, and you have to do what I want in order to get it. Okay, those are still crimes
right.
without anybody else responding, even though you change your mind later, right? Just like hiring a hitman, even if the hitman doesn't go through with it and you haven't paid them yet,
That's exactly it.
is still illegal.
Well, he didn't kill. He didn't get around to killing her.
I didn't even pay
So
them.
no
yes,
crime
but
happened.
you hired me.
It's exactly it. Yes, yes.
It's still a crime.
That's the thing is that once you put in simpler terms and equate it to any other
No,
crime,
no, they won't get it. I was gonna have coloring books made and crayons and stuff like that so they'd understand it, but they won't. They won't.
because they don't want to.
Only
They-
3
they-
colors because I think it's overstimulating.
All of these arguments are totally, you know,
Simple.
they act like they're gonna pull one over on you, like they're smarter than you. And it's
Ha
like,
ha! Got you, libtard.
right, and it's
Oh,
like
boy.
it's not arguing logic. It's just trying to win, and it's like that.
But here's the
How
thing.
stupid do you think
Here's the
everybody
thing.
else
This
is to fall for that?
This is like
This
the
isn't a
world's
legal
dumbest
loophole. It's-
bully. You know, like it's dumb and pathetic, right? Where they're always like, "Oh, I got you, you libtard." It's like, really? Did you, or do you just look stupid? And they just keep doing this, like the
There have been so many times where, and it's like all different topics, but like truly, since this man was elected, I have been legitimately looking at comments of conservatives, Republicans, whatever, people who have voted for Trump. I know that's not all Republicans, but whatever. I'm literally looking for, like, how are you justifying this, you know? And I really want to try to understand. And it boils down to a few basic things, regardless of the topic. One is straight up ignorance. And I don't mean just like, I mean willfully stupid. Number 2 is homophobia and racism.
Well, yeah, it's a reaction to the PC
Well,
I think
culture.
like-
they
I
don't-
think that's the
they
binding
feel excluded.
Completely unhidden homophobia and racism.
That's their binding force. I think it's what holds
I don't know,
them
but like,
together.
man,
No, they feel
don't-
persecuted
they do
with the
not
new
even
PC
try
culture.
to
They don't know
hide
how to
it.
adapt, and they don't want
try
to.
Oh
because
my
they
God.
no longer get to keep their privilege.
Yeah.
And the third is just truly that they stick their head in the sand and refuse to believe any of the things that there is literal proof one button away from your fingertips for.
I know.
I know,
Oh
it's
my God! So I was
irritating.
just I was just sent a bunch of shit on the proof that global warming isn't real and vaccines are bullshit. But it was a listicle.
Wait. All
It was
all in
what?
one article, both issues.
Both issues.
Okay.
It was a YouTube listicle with no word. Like there was verbal as like the person was talking. There wasn't a single written word, no citations, no. It was a listicle. It was number 1, the proof that mosquitoes are destroying the world. Like it was like dumb wacko shit. Like, and I'm like, this is not a source. This is barely entertainment. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's the other thing. My favorite is always seeing that guy from InfoWars as sorted as a source of information.
I was literally going to bring that up.
This man literally thinks there's gay frogs.
He thinks
I mean,
there's
there
lizard
might be
people and
there might be
goblins.
gay frogs. I'm sorry. What he's saying is that we're turning the frogs gay.
But he thinks there's lizard people and goblins.
He's a fucking nut job.
That's for real. I'm not joking. This
No,
isn't
no.
a stretch.
I've heard the clips.
This isn't hyperbole. He believes there are lizard people and goblins.
He believes somebody has an agenda to turn frogs gay. So
I've been forced and subjected to this radio program, and I gotta say, I railed against it. I was just so irritated, and then I realized, holy shit, this is hilarious. I mean, everything about it.
would be funny if people didn't take it seriously.
I mean, it's the lowest rent, stupid as shit, and he goes to commercial like once every 8 minutes,
But he's-
hawking his own products
I know,
for
I
the
know,
end of
I
the
know.
world.
And they're like,
It's
What does he
hilarious."
get out of this? What does he get out of this? I'm like, are you serious? Have we
The
not listened to
protein
the same
powder
show?
he's selling.
oh, I know. He's constantly selling his.
You,
it's
you
so
need 2
weird.
gallons of this for your bunker.
Doomsday barrels and dude, it's
Bug
like-
out bags.
and all these and all these things are designed to target people who are scared of everything.
It is. I just.
But yeah, all the
I'm sorry,
products.
I'm really like not a super judgmental person unless you're the butt of one of the jokes on this show. But but truly,
it's
if
the same person. He knows who he is too.
If I see an InfoWars sticker on your car, I am so judging you. I'm sorry. I'm like, ooh.
I'm looking for the truck nuts.
Oh, there is an entire thing on
I've
Reddit.
seen it, and I'm like, this is a thing. There's actually people that listen to this, dude. Like,
There's a whole subreddit on Reddit about InfoWars cars. Like the shit.
oh, is there really?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I've seen
like
a
one guy
couple.
towing a trailer that says Trump, like big, huge letters, Trump. No, I'm not talking like a horse trailer.
There's
I'm
one in
talking
our
like a flatbed
neighborhood.
trailer
Right.
where there's giant cutouts of the letters that spell out Trump sitting on it,
Okay.
like it's almost a float
What
to
the
Awesome.
Trump.
hell?
And he drives around. Yeah,
There's there's like
What's the
one of
nicest
those
car?
those micro penis trucks driving
Oh,
around
yeah,
our
yeah.
city
Yes.
somewhere, and he's got literally 2 full-size motherfucking flags flying off of his pickup truck. One is an American flag, and the other one just says Trump. And I'm just
Wait, there's a
like,
Trump flag?
there's
oh,
a Trump
yeah,
flag.
Yeah.
What?
There's
Trump flag
one,
and an American flag, and I'm like, dude.
There's one
sorry
around the
about your
corner from me
dick.
that has an American flag and a rebel flag, and I'm like, those are contradictory.
Right, but at
But
least
I
they're
thought-
geographically the same place.
I thought about replacing his rebel flag with they now have the gay rebel flag.
No. Could we?
Do they?
Yeah, it's the rainbow flag and the rebel flag melded. And I'm like, this guy needs this.
I need to backtrack. There's a flag, and it just says Trump.
Yeah, it's just a blue flag that says Trump on it
Blue flag.
with white letters. Yeah.
It was toilet paper, but it'll work.
No, but I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's frightening. That's like a flag is supposed to be a nation, an empire, and you have
And
under
this
Trump.
narcissistic man thinks he's our king. Yes, we know. This is what we're fighting against.
Well, it's bad enough that he thinks it, but anybody who actually wants a dictator is insane.
Oh, no, there's a whole chunk of America who wants him as a dictator. That's the thing.
These
Because
people
they think
are
he's just
literally
gonna-
saying that they'd rather be Russian than Democrat. They are behind
They think they'll be
him
spared, but really they're the
no
mark.
matter what he does. He has sold out our country time and time again.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
fine.
think it's fantastic.
He's one insane narcissist. That's fine, but it's the people behind him that concern me.
So let's rapid fire. We're
Yes.
running low on time, so let's rapid fire a little bit. Donald Trump Jr. ends a book event abruptly after far right heckling.
Was he triggered?
That's what I'm saying. First off, the whole book is about him being triggered.
Isn't that the name of
By
the book?
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
By what?
I wasn't
Well,
making
how
fun of
his family's
triggering. I was
he was
making fun of
He was
him.
in front of Arlington, and all he could think about was the sacrifices his father had made. And I'm like, are you fucking
What?
kidding me?
You
yeah,
mean
that's,
shin splints?
oh my god.
Oh my
Like,
god.
This is who they are. This is who they are, right?
I mean,
they
he was a
they
drift
think that
dodger.
they actually
Everybody-
believe that
I
they
mean-
have sacrificed like more than other people,
my
like for this
God.
country. It's just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
That's oh my god.
But they were heckled because they wouldn't take
I
questions.
mean, you're
And
aware
he's
of this.
like-
You got a medical excuse for shin splints. I mean,
No, it was bones.
or bone spurs. That's what it was. Bone,
yeah, Lieutenant Bone Spurs. So
Sacrifices. Okay.
yeah, there's all kinds
Yeah.
of ridiculous stuff with the
That
impeachment.
takes a special level of delusion.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
oh,
go
no,
ahead.
they're delusional. All kinds of weird stuff happening with the impeachment, including where'd it go? Vindman being fired. So Lieutenant
Who?
Colonel Vindman was asked to testify, and he decided to testify even after being told not to testify by the White House, which can
Are
you
they-
do that?
Are they allowed to?
Well,
not
not only that,
testify?
but that he was. You could say what you want, but it's not legal.
How is that not witness
So-
intimidation?
Right. Well, they said, it had nothing to do with that, though. So even though it happened immediately after he testified, they're like, oh, this is just a slimming down in the White House. And I'm like, oh.
For fuck's sake.
So, and I'm like, how is this? Like, if this happened to you at your job, like,
You'd file for unemployment.
well, and
Sue
well,
them.
supposedly he still
Wrongful
has a
termination.
job, just not in the White House. So,
So he should just
but
sue
yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, like the courts would hold your company in contempt for doing that.
Oh my god.
So, but this is who they are, right?
That's
I mean,
crazy.
so U.S. votes against UN resolution condemning gay sex. God damn it, gay sex death penalty. Joining Iraq and Saudi Arabia. So we are as good as Iraq and Saudi Arabia in supporting.
I
Wait,
feel
wait.
like that was a while ago.
So
Wait.
oh, that was a newer article.
How-
I know.
We didn't support or
Yeah, basically there are other countries that will kill people for being gay.
Like Iraq and Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And most countries are like, hey, that's bad. You shouldn't do that.
so we're gonna sign a piece of paper to say, yeah,
no,
we
no,
agree
no.
it's bad.
No. But like Iraq and Saudi Arabia are like, yeah, let's kill the gay people. And the U.S. was like, yeah, that's fine. We're good with it. Do what you want. Killing gay people's fine.
So,
So that's where U.S. is at right now. I think that's just like a nice benchmarker for this is who we are now.
yep, this is us.
Well, it's over there. That's probably the mentality of it.
Who gives,
So
like, at what point do you you're like, hey, this person happens to love somebody that I don't love, so we should kill them.
well,
There's logic there somewhere.
and generally speaking, that kind of stuff comes from a place of not wanting to face certain emotions you yourself have. So, I'm not saying they're gay, but maybe.
I'm saying they're evil.
So,
Whatever.
there's
I
lots
mean,
of
you
evil.
want
Just
people
the angry,
dead.
vocal
so
ones in the party. You know, that always comes out in a news item 2 months later.
like at the point
Yeah.
when we're
Well,
like
that's the real thing. So I just
we're
saw
murdering innocent people. That's cool.
I saw another article. So I just told you guys last week about a Republican who in Pennsylvania who was arrested for child pornography and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was the Texan, I think he was a Texas principal who outlawed any books with gay content in them or anything. And then he was caught for pedophilia. And then it just keeps happening. And then another priest who condemned homosexuality caught for pedophilia. Like, it's just...
I mean, I don't get it. Are you connecting pedophilia because they were looking at small boys?
They're What do you mean? No.
So
These
they're
are
condemning.
anti-gay activists.
They're condemning homosexuality, but at the same
but
time,
they are
they're
pedophiles.
bigger creeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, that
So-
needs to be spelled out because Republicans are famous for talking
For
Trying to
slippery
say they're the
slope
same
arguments.
Yes,
Yeah, and they're
tying
not.
homosexuality
And
to
they're not,
pedophilia.
yeah,
No,
it's two different
obviously.
things.
Right. So, all right. So, Trump to Congress. It's none of your business if I break the law. This is on Yahoo News. William Consovoy, the president's personal lawyer. What is he on now? I don't even know. He's got so many, right?
He's got like 400.
Told a federal judge on Tuesday that Congress was powerless to hold the president's feet to the fire, and that the Watergate and Whitewater hearings exemplified congressional overreach.
What?
What?
So, yeah, this is their way of basically saying the president is untouchable, in their opinion. At which point I would slap the shit out of him, personally. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're just going to start putting criminals in office, and then they're untouchable. This is a good plan.
Well,
this is solid.
speaking
What
of
could go
putting
wrong?
criminals in office, the White House ends the Bar Association's role in vetting judges.
What?
What?
Yep. Like, how they can just...
Who's vetting judges then?
They are. The criminals are running the jail.
What is the end goal here? Are they trying to like get more Supreme
They're trying to rip our
justices?
country apart. They're
'Cause,
literally,
I mean, a lot of them are getting old. I
they're
mean,
destroying
They're
it from
making
the
a
inside on
dystopia?
purpose. I'm pretty sure at this point.
And then Trump's Panama hotel was under investigation and may have actually been found. Let's see, Colombian drug cartels and other groups laundering money through Trump's affiliated hotel in Panama. So he's actually using his Panama hotel as a money laundering ring.
I'm not even going to pretend to be surprised.
no, I mean, yeah.
Is our president just an outright international criminal, and is there nothing we can do about it? You know. The guy who did you guys hear about that? The baby Trump balloon got stabbed,
I did.
and then the guy
only
got
in passing.
He admitted to it too, right?
Yeah, he admitted to. Well, he got caught. I mean, right away he was caught. He admitted to it. He started GoFundMe. It raised $40,000. Then GoFundMe said, "Nope, shut it down." It refunded the money.
Huh.
Personally, I think GoFundMe would have been better served
There's
to
a rule against
hold the
it.
money and give it to the people who
You-
own the baby Trump balloon to repair it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't think they would be allowed.
I
but
don't think they're allowed to either. But yeah, you can't profit off of a crime like that.
Well, which is funny because they actually do this a lot. Like, I've seen several Republicans commit crimes and then go and start a GoFundMe and get to keep the money. And it's just, I had questioned that.
Really?
Do you get to go and keep that money afterwards? Is that not profiting off a crime?
Well, then again, I mean, I don't know. I think it depends. Like, if it
like
was
the guy who ran
for
over
his
Heather Heyer,
defense.
I heard used like a
Ew.
GoFundMe account to fund his legal thing. I don't know if you got to keep it or anything.
But people contributed to that. That's disgusting.
what?
Because these right wingers are.
You're talking about the guy who ran the tiki torch wielder who ran
Oh.
over.
Yeah, the incel with the tiki torch.
Who ran over a girl and killed her. Oh.
no way. What,
So,
for like
I don't-
legal
I don't
defense
know.
or something?
Yeah, for his legal fees and stuff. But I don't know.
Jesus
I don't know if you got to
Christ.
keep anything.
It doesn't matter if he got to keep it. The fact that people were contributing money to that.
Well, that's not
disgusting.
surprising.
He
It's
went
like
to
the
jail.
people that don't want to make the gay wedding cakes or something, and then they end up with this huge windfall of money from contributors who will support his cause or whatever crap.
And then they throw temper tantrums when they go into a gay shop, and they're like, "Yeah, you need to leave. We don't." Take
or
religious
when they're
types in
kicked out of a
here."
restaurant because they don't want to serve an awful human being. It's just
Right.
like, oh, you have to serve me.
Right.
Well, if they don't have to make a cake for a gay couple, why do I have to serve you?
Right. Exactly.
So I'm gonna finish it with Trump met with lock him up chants and impeach signs at the New York City Veterans Day parade. Good.
Good.
Boo him out of everything, just
So
like
we had one little
do
bright
at home.
side on this
Yeah.
whole rant.
yeah. Make sure they don't ever get any peace.
I hope
I
that catches
absolutely
on,
agree with this
Because
idea.
I think I heard to lock him up when he threw a pitch out. There was like
Did he throw a pitch? I don't think he can throw.
I thought I heard something about that.
Well, no,
I
I knew
didn't
he was
see
in the
it.
World
He gave it
Series,
like
but I
a
didn't know if he
little
threw a
granny roll.
pitch. Yeah, I mean,
But I think it was like mixed boos and cheers, and I thought there was a chance of that.
no, yeah, it was boos and cheers. That's true, but I don't know if he threw anything.
There's just
Well, it's in conflating
there's
news
so
items.
much like blatant crime going on in our government that it's almost it would be laughable if it didn't make you want to cry.
It's time to flush the political toilet. The Republican Party has to go altogether. We can't let one
I
single
just
one
feel
stand.
like our whole government just needs to be gutted.
Yeah.
Although the worse it gets, the more I feel like maybe will set the example, so we'll finally have a good working system that's been needing a
you need to stop
rehaul
it
for a
before we
long
become an
time.
Oh, it's
authoritarianism.
highlighted everything that's
You-
wrong.
Right.
But I mean, we need to rip it all out. And
We
that's
need to
the hard
swing the
part.
other way before it hits authoritarianism. There is a point where it's too late.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. On that lovely low note,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
we will see you all next week. Don't forget to check us out at _American on Twitter. So we'll see you next week.